All right, everyone. So we will begin our yoga practice today. Taking ourselves down on the floor, we will begin in Shavasana. So if you're not yet already down, laying comfortably on your mat, I'll invite you to come into that position now, whether it's Shavasana or some other version of a relaxed position. Taking that now and spending the next couple of minutes on just checking in with our body, quieting the thoughts racing around our mind, trying to set all of those thoughts away in a box, away from our mat, and worry about focusing on your breathing. Take the time to get yourself there now. And as we continue to become more mindful, aware of our body, our immediate surroundings, our breathing, I want us to pay attention to the connection points on the ground. What do we feel against the ground? The shoulders and the hips, probably the feet or some point of the leg or the arm. Noticing that we're grounded, we're connected to the earth, we're safe, we're stable. Hopefully we're comfortable. Giving ourselves permission to surrender to the mat, to stay present. Let's enjoy the next couple of deep breaths, filling the rib cage, lifting the chest, and then feeling that softness wash over the body when we exhale. Just noticing how our breathing feels today. If it's a struggle, if it's coming naturally, if it's fast or slow, deep or shallow. On our next breath in, reaching our arms long up over the head, whether they're reaching for the sky or down on the ground, stretching long. I want us to pay attention to any stretch we might be experiencing. Is it through the back, the shoulders, the ribs? Beginning to release our arms. Take our time as we gather our legs into the chest, giving ourselves a big hug. And as we hold those knees into the chest, we can start rocking right to left. Noticing any tightness in the front of our hips. We could be feeling those hip flexors talking to us. Or perhaps there's some knots that are starting to speak a little bit louder in our lower backs. Stopping the movement and beginning to roll our ankles. Rolling through the feet, especially if we've been sitting all day. Noticing if we just need to articulate, encourage some circulation and blood flow down to those toes and through the arches, releasing any cricks and cracks from the ankles. Singling out the stretch. We'll keep a hold of our right knee, extending that left leg down to the ground. Gently open the right knee towards the right shoulder. And I encourage everyone to firmly press that left leg down into the mat, lengthening that hip flexor. Again, if we've been sitting all day, perhaps this hip flexor has gotten shorter, tighter, and stiff. Now we'll start to open it up. If it's comfortable to do so, let's draw the knee over towards our left shoulder now. Doesn't have to move very far. And we may experience a bit of a stretch to the outside of our right hip or down the outside of our thigh. Staying calm through our shoulders, relax through the face. Inhaling through the middle, and exhale, release the leg down. Inhale, drawing that left knee up and opening up towards the left shoulder. And again, I'm going to draw your attention to that right leg. If we're able to firmly press the leg into the mat, we may trigger a response through the front of our hip into the hip flexors if you need it. Beginning to draw the knee over towards our right shoulder. Pay attention to any pinching, any tightness, any stretch that we may be experiencing in and around the left outer hip. Coming through the middle and release down. Let's step the feet in closer to the body now, bending the knees, taking our arms down by our side, continuing to stretch through the hip flexors, now activating the glutes in our glute bridges. Roll the shoulders into the mat, zip up all the way through the core. Take our inhale and lift those hips up. Exhale, lower, articulating through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, lifting the hips up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Squeeze your glutes. Exhale, release. And we'll do this one more time. Inhale, lifting up through the hips. And exhale, slowly lower down. Very good. From here, we'll roll ourselves over onto our side. Take your time and lift up and over onto hands and knees, assuming our tabletop position on all fours. Spreading the fingers, placing the hands underneath. If that's not okay for your wrists today, go ahead and take a fist for a wrist instead. Knees are also spaced hip-width distance apart, flat-footed. We'll inhale, extend right arm and left leg in spinal balance. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Inhale, left, flat back, long neck. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Inhale, left. And exhale, hold it down here. Let's come into those cats and cows. Inhale, untuck the tailbone, open the chest, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back, draw those bellies in. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. I want us to enjoy this. So at any point, if you need to stop and hold it, please do so. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. And one more, inhale, open. Exhale, round. Let's press back into child's pose. Whatever your version is, I encourage us legs nice and close, heels down into the, bum down into the heels, extending the arms, forehead down. But if you need to separate your legs and open up the knees, if you need to keep your hips higher, bring your hands in closer, please listen to the body and do so. We're taking slow, deep breaths, evaluating and investigating our body, preparing for a modified flow series. This is our little push-up plank series. We'll take our inhale to begin, reaching forward into a kneeling plank. Exhale, lower into a hover position, holding that push-up. Inhale, press straight up into your kneeling plank. Exhale, pushing back into child's pose. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, forward into kneeling plank. Exhale, hover. You can bend your elbows just a little bit or a lot. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Squeeze your belly. Exhale, lower. Elbows brushing ribs. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, press back. And one more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press back, holding child's pose. Now, if you're interested, we'll come into downward facing dog. Curl the toes as we lift the hips, sending those hips up nice and high, pressing away from the fingers. And if it feels good, pedaling the feet, walking the dog in place, right to left, toe to heel, working through those arches, through the ankles, up the calf muscles. From here, we can continue that walk wherever you are right now, in towards your hands with your feet, coming halfway up into monkey. Meeting us when you're able. Backs are parallel to the floor, knees are soft, hands pressing against shins or thighs. Really mindful of creating that tabletop-like surface with the back, squeezing those shoulder blades together and belly buttons up towards spine. Softening the knees, let's inhale, reverse swan dive, lift all the way up tall. And now exhale, sweep, sitting into a chair. Bring the weight back in towards your heels. See if we can send the weight back a little bit, maintaining upright posture. Arms can reach for the ceiling or take heart center. We'll take one more big inhale, lift up tall. And exhale, release. Take a few shoulder rolls. If you have any warm-up clothes on, if you needed to remove a layer, please feel free to do so now. What I'll ask us to do is when you're done taking that quick break, meet me in mountain pose, Tadasana. Feet are about hips-width distance apart, noticing all four corners of your feet, big toe, little toe, inner and outer edges of the heels. You zip up the thighs, squeeze your glutes, roll the shoulders down, palms extended so that the palms are facing forward. I like to close my eyes to take a quick check of my balance. Notice how it feels to be upright, grounded through the feet, all through the crown of the head. And from here, we'll add in a lateral extension. Inhale, both hands all the way up tall. Now exhale, release the left arm down, reaching that right arm up just a little bit higher. Push the weight into your right foot a bit more than your left to extend or exaggerate that right side. Inhale, lift arms up. And now exhale, we'll push the weight over into that left side a little bit more, drop the right arm and lean, stretching open that left arm through the left side of our body, maybe even into that left hip. Inhale, both arms up, soft knees, and exhale, just release those arms down by our side. Couple shoulder rolls if we'd like it. Stepping one foot back so we can face the long edge of our mat. Whatever is better for you in your workout space on your mat. Usually we address positions or orientations in the room based on top of mat, the short edge, or long edge of the mat, the side. From here, we'll come into our sunflowers, opening your feet just a little bit. Comfortable stance through the feet, so you've got a natural external rotation or openness at the hips. Soft through the knees. We'll take our arms up with an inhale, a little bit of a round circle at the top, and then exhale, hinge at the hips as we scoop, like you're picking up a basket of laundry. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, continuing with your sunflowers, bending those knees. Inhale. Exhale, little heat building as we work those big thigh muscles. Inhale. Exhale, big work of the arms through those shoulder joints. Inhale, up. Exhale, two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. And last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Now inhale all the way up. We're going to hold our sun pose, coming down into your wide squat. Arms are up as if you're holding the sun above your head, very strong through the shoulders, continuing to bring knees the same direction over toes. Sit down into that squat. Let's hold this confidently, feeling all four corners of our feet pressing into the ground, activating strong tummy muscles, feeling the strength, the energy through your arms as we take one more breath cycle. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, release. Very nice. Returning to the top of our mat. as we prepare for our first warrior series. From Tadasana, maintaining right foot forward, we'll sweep the left foot back into a short stance warrior one. With our hips and shoulders remaining square to the top of our mat, let's keep our feet flat on the ground as we bring our body weight as we shift it forward over the knee, bending that right knee, and then lifting our arms up nice and tall, or choosing instead, if we'd prefer, to maintain heart center. Zipping up through the core, we found our arm position, we're bending into that right knee, and now you can look upwards with your gaze or forward. I'm also going to close my eyes. Holding warrior one. I want our focus to be on how grounded we can be through all four corners of both right and left feet. Maybe a little stretch through that back left calf. Noticing our balance, any fidgeting, not judging ourselves harshly if we have to readjust. One more inhale. Release the arms with your exhale, straightening out both legs. Now, if you straighten the legs and realize that your legs might be too separated or too far apart, go ahead and shorten the stance even more. Slight bend in the knees as we find pyramid. Hinging forward. Keeping your body square to the front. We'll rest our hands on our thigh, the shin, the foot, or the floor, wherever it feels good to hold. Remembering that in yoga, we worry about the journey, not the destination. Not worried about, excuse me, where our hands are touching. Worried instead about how does this feel? Continuing to hold it for just a couple more breaths. Noticing any stretch on that hamstring. Softening the knee, slowly walking up that thigh and stepping the feet together at the top of the mat. Making any adjustments we need to in Tadasana. Now taking that right foot back behind. Finding that short stance warrior one. Shifting the weight over the left foot, arms into position. Holding it here for just a few breaths. Really trying to enjoy this. Close your eyes if you're able to. From that warrior one position, we'll take our last big inhale and release our hands with our exhale, straightening out the legs. If the legs are a little bit too far apart, bring them in slightly closer. Find your balance. And then we begin that hinge. Nice long backs, belly's tight. As soon as you feel a stretch, we stop the movement. And feel free with every exhale to journey just a little bit farther. Whether we move millimeters, centimeters, or really change and progress. Notice how this left side feels. Two more breaths. Softening the knee, slowly walking up that thigh, and stepping our feet in together. Shaking or fidgeting out anything we need to as we reestablish that Tadasana or mountain pose. Preparing for our second warrior series, we'll step into warrior one, taking that left foot behind us, right foot is at the top of our mat, and then we turn to the side, opening up into warrior two. You flip your hips to face the long edge of the mat, arms are strong on top, shoulders and hips stacked, we bend forward into that right knee. Good, staying here. So as we continue to bend into that right knee, I now want us to come down into side angle. We'll bring our right elbow down onto the thigh, left arm high to the sky, continuing to bend that knee if that's comfortable, making sure we're never leaning into that right shoulder. We've got lots of space. Neck can be long, looking either forward or up to the hand. Two more breaths. Slowly coming up to warrior two, taking a quick break if you need it, otherwise staying here, coming into reverse warrior, our last pose in our warrior series. Taking our right palm, lift it up to the ceiling. That left hand can be so soft against the leg, or take the arm into the back pocket, removing it from the story. Bend forward a bit more into the right knee, really exaggerate that lift up through the right hand. Enjoying the lengthening, the extension down that right side as we continue to open up and strengthen the right hip. One more big inhale. Exhaling down, choose either to stand in mountain and wait, or come with me all the way down through our waterfall, back into down dog or child's pose. The choice is your own. Listen to your body's needs. Standing tall at the top of your mat, or resting down on the floor in down dog or child's pose. Big deep breaths. If you're down on the floor, you can choose to stay in down dog or child's pose, or join me in 2 rounds of our flow series. Lots of options. We'll inhale forward into plank. Exhale, slow lower chaturanga. Inhale, lifting up into cobra. Exhale, pressing back, down dog or child. And if we're flowing, one more time. Inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pressing back. From here, everyone together that's down on the floor will walk to the top of our mat, stopping halfway up in monkey. Very good. And then joining our friends in standing, we'll soften our knees. Inhale, lift tall, all the way up to prayer. And exhale, release. Finding Tadasana all together. Taking just a couple more deep breaths. From Tadasana, we'll leave our left foot at the top of our mat as we step our right foot behind us through warrior one. We can lift our arms all the way up tall, find our foundation, and then turn to the side of our mat into warrior two. I'll flip my hips going the same direction as you. So we bend into that left knee. Hips and shoulders are square to the long edge of our mat. Arms are up really tall. Make sure that if I were in the same room with you, if I were to walk around and try to press your arms down with my hands, just a gentle tap, you could support and resist my strength with your own. You're holding your arms with so much intention and energy out of our fingertips. Continuing to bend into that left knee, we'll come into side angle. Left elbow bends to the thigh, and that right arm can come up to the ceiling. Now for anyone who is wanting to just be a little kinder or more aware of that shoulder joint today, if this is too much today, we take the arm into our back pocket. Still open across the chest, still working through the strength of the midsection. Let's all consider our left inner thigh and groin area. Let's bend a bit more into the knee if that's an option for us. Inhale, lifting up through warrior two. If you need to take the break, go for it, straighten, and then come back and join us, finding that reverse warrior. Taking that left hand, lift it all the way up to the ceiling, resting with the right hand so soft against the leg or into the back pocket. And let's bend a bit more into the left knee, again, if that's an option or if it's available for us today. Slow, deep breaths, lengthening that left side of our body, bending still into the left knee. Inhaling warrior two. And now it's up to you if you come all the way down to the floor with me or stay atop the top of your mat. Slow resist waterfall, plank, and then down dog or child's pose. If we're standing, maintaining an upright posture, focusing on your breathing. If we're in down dog and child's pose, decide if we're going to stay there or if you're joining me in our flow series 2 more times through. Ready? For those of us who are flowing, we inhale forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga, that controlled lower. Inhale, cobra stretch, lift up. Exhale, pressing back, down dog or child. Inhaling forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press back. Now all together, we'll walk our hands and feet to the top and come halfway up into monkey. Pull the shoulder blades together, belly buttons tight, backs are as flat as our grandmother's tabletop. Softening the knees, inhale, reverse swan dive, lift tall to prayer, and exhale, release. Everyone together, taking a moment, tall in Tadasana. Feeling grounded through the feet, tall through the crown of our head, strong and stable through the core. Very nice, everybody. Now from Tadasana, I am going to have just a quick conversation. We will be coming into dancer pose, which is a balance. If you notice at all today that your balance is something that could cause frustration, please take yourself next to a chair, a wall, or a table if you would like to hold that to help with your balance. Otherwise, we're standing in Tadasana. Roll those shoulders down. With dancer, we'll transfer the weight into our right foot, take our left leg and extend the hip back. Holding our left palm up, we grab the inside of the left foot, otherwise grabbing where it's available. Rolling those legs into position, trying to maintain belly button, collar, nose straight to the front. From here, we'll reach that right arm either forward or holding on to that wall, table, or chair. We send that left foot back into the hand, which may cause a bit of a tip forward with the body. Let's consider that we want to keep that left leg in our body's frame. Once the leg starts opening up, we twist, we're falling out of foundation, or we're moving ourselves away from that really strong square level position. Keep pressing that foot back into the hand, maybe causing a bit more of a dip. Notice how this feels, aware of our breathing. One more big inhale, and exhale, release. Go ahead and fidget if that feels good. Take a couple of deep breaths, find our composure. Reestablishing Tadasana. Transferring the weight now into the left leg. We extend from the right hip. Nice soft left knee. Activate those leg muscles. Inside of right hand, hold inside of right ankle, roll the shoulder down, otherwise we're holding where we are able to grab. Left arm holds something or reaches forward. Let's keep the body square to the front as we press the foot against the hand, which may cause a bit of a tip. The tipping comes secondary. It's the foot lifting up that forces the movement. I find that sometimes people want to naturally fold forward, and that's when things can get a little discombobulated. Let's see if we can really maintain that crown right on top of our head. Square, long lines, level. Noticing any of that sensation through the right side of our body. We take one more big inhale and exhale, release. Go ahead and fidget, fidget, fidget. Keeping our legs in Tadasana, round those shoulders down. Preparing for chest expansion. We can hold an imaginary ball behind us, pretend that we've got a big Pilates ball behind us, or we can interlace our fingers and try to point our index down. From here, Some of us will need to soften our legs more than others to protect the lower back. I take a pretty exaggerated squat position here, really pulling my belly in to support my sway back. We want to avoid that. Shoulders in, and then lift the arms a little bit off the back if that's an option. I like to lift my eyes up a little bit as well. Really pull those bellies in. Open and stretching through those tight chest and front shoulder muscles. If we've been sitting at a desk or a keyboard today, these muscles tend to round forward and get tighter. Let's open those up. One more big inhale. And exhale, release. Soften, soften, soften. A couple big shoulder rolls. Amazing. Taking ourselves to the very top of our mat, we're going to make our way down to the floor. Big inhale, lift up. And exhale, swan dive, hinging at the hips, hanging in forward fold, where we'll stay for a few deep breaths. Soft knees, hands are wherever they need to be. Relax our neck. Slowly, slowly coming down all the way through tabletop and push back into child's pose. Take a few deep breaths as we check in with our body, with our mind, and with our breathing. While we're here, stretching our shoulders, walking those hands over to the right, extending that left side of our body just a little bit more as we take the left hand on top of right hand, sit into our left hip a little bit more. Noticing any sensation past that left shoulder, down the torso into the hip. And begin to walk through the middle to repeat over onto the left side. Placing right hand on top, sitting more deeply into the right hip as we stretch down that right side of the body. Slowly coming through the middle. Take our time lifting up into tabletop so we can sweep our legs around to the front. Taking a couple of seated stretches before coming into our final relaxation pose. We'll start by taking both legs out to the side, opening them out into our straddle. Whatever's comfortable for you. If it's an exaggerated split, like I enjoy taking, take that position. If it's a much narrower V, take that position instead. We want to make sure that we're balanced on top of sits bones. Some of us may have a bit of a knee bend. That's okay, so long as our heels are on the ground, the toes are up to the ceiling. That's indicative of a neutral or aligned pelvis. If it's forward, our hips have tipped forward. If our feet are kind of falling back, our hips have likely tucked under or tipped back. Let's establish that neutral alignment. Take our arms to prepare for our final lateral extension of the day. I love these side stretches. Right hand glides along the inside of our right leg as our left arm opens up to the ceiling. Really press that left hip down into the ground as we extend all the way up that left side. And again, the option could be left hand on the hip or into the back pocket. Instead, looking up, forward, or even down if you prefer. Noticing how this feels through the groin, the inner thighs, up that left side of our body. Inhale, lift. Set that left hand to the inside of the leg. Exhale, reach towards your left foot. However long, however far you've gone, let's try to keep both hips on the ground. Press that right hip in particular down, really exaggerating the stretch up that right side. Now for me, I like to keep my hands pointing straight up to the ceiling. If anyone is extended overhead, that's fine. Just watch your shoulder doesn't collapse forward. this doesn't do us much stretch. It puts us into a rounded position. Just keeping an eye on that, opening up through the shoulder. And inhale, lifting up nice and tall. Exhale, bring our arms in, stretching the groin a little bit more deeply. We're going for a walk in our straddle split. It could be a short walk. It could be a long walk. Keep the hips on the ground, bend the knees if you need to, toes stay up to the ceiling. As soon as you feel a stretch through the groin, we can rest. I like to reach my arms, but if anyone would like to be more passive, you could support your elbows on the ground or even have your head rest into your hands. Two more deep breaths. And slowly walking in. Go ahead and shake those legs out. And at this point, I will invite you to come down onto the floor. I'm going to grab a quick drink first if you'd like to do the same. And anyone who had warm-up layers or blankets and socks nearby to enjoy your final relaxation, feel free to grab that. So as we take ourselves down to the floor, I know some people have little rituals or routines. If you have that, like I, for example, always like to take my knees into the chest when I first come down, kneading out any lingering knots, pinching out any tension in my hips, really telling myself, communicating to my body through this ritual that I am ready to wind down, to meditate, to relax, to enjoy this final bit of our class today. And once you've gone through all of that, if you've got blankets or pillows or anything on, I'll ask that we take our legs all the way down to the floor and our arms out to the side, making our body into the letter T, preparing for our final stretch, which will be spinal balance. Inhale, lift our right knee up about 90 degrees. Exhale, lower the leg over to the left. Once we find a comfortable position, try to return or maintain shoulders down on the floor. And we can look over that left arm if it's comfortable to do so. Stretching through that left side of the body. Maybe it's in your shoulder or your rib or your hip. Pay attention to that. Inhale, lifting the knee up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting the left knee. Exhale, lowering to the right. Again, let's bring the shoulders to the mat if they lifted, or really secure them to the floor. And we can look over the left arm if it's comfortable to do so. A couple big, deep breaths. Inhale, lifting the knee up. And exhale, lowering down. Finding a position that you're comfortable with holding for the next couple of minutes. I am going to assume Shavasana with my legs extended and my hips opened, allowing my feet to fall out to the side. My arms are also loosely held by the side of my body with my palms raised to the ceiling. Loosening my grip, allowing my fingers to relax softly in my palms. Wherever you've chosen to hold this final resting pose, let's ensure that our shoulders and hips feel even. Our neck is relaxed. The muscles in our face are soft, especially those eyes if we've furrowed our brow or clenched our jaw. And now with this sense of calmness, acceptance of peace, feeling grounded again, completely surrendering to our mat, I'll encourage everyone to go through slow, deep breaths. Breathing in and out through your nose. If you have a cough and it feels better to breathe through your mouth, that's okay. Do that instead. Maintaining soft facial features. Slow your breathing. Notice the fall and the rise of our stomach as we breathe in and out. And consider again the pace of our breathing today. Is it fast or is it slow? What about the depth? Are we taking an exaggerated breath that forces the ribs, the chest, the neck to rise? And with that exhale, do we almost feel like we're melting into the ground? Or is it a little bit more shallow today? Not judging ourselves one way or another. Rather, we're becoming aware. We're learning something about ourselves today. Taking our last big inhale in this position. And your final exhale, releasing any lingering negative energy and wiggle it away. Wiggling fingers, toes, perhaps rolling through wrists and ankles, even shoulders. Sometimes it feels good to rock the head side to side. And then however you need to come up to your seated position, taking yourself there now. And as we assume our final seated pose, however that looks for you today, let's maintain upright posture to say our final goodbye. Inhale, lifting hands up above head to prayer. Exhaling down through heart center. Namaste. Thank you very much, everyone. Wonderful practice. And I hope everyone has a fantastic week. See you again next week.